My sister spent years mocking me for being adopted, until a stroke left our grandfather unable to remember anyone's name but mine. I was adopted at 6, and my sister Nadia made sure I never forgot it. Every argument ended the same way. "You're lucky they took you in. You're not really one of us." She said it so often I half believed it. Our parents loved me. I knew that. But Nadia had a way of making guest feel like the truest word for me. The one person who never made me feel like a visitor was Pop, my dad's father. He'd come over from a tiny fishing village in the Azores at 19, and his English never fully landed. 50 years in, he still slipped into Portuguese when he got tired or excited. Most of the family treated him like background noise by then, nodding politely and moving on. But when I was 8, Pop pulled me onto the porch swing, pointed at the moon, and said a word in Portuguese. I repeated it back completely wrong, and he laughed so hard he wheezed and had to wipe his eyes. That was the first lesson, though I didn't know it was one. For years it stayed our secret. While everyone else tuned him out, I'd sit with him after dinner, and he'd teach me the names of the fish, the words to the songs from his village festival, the prayers his mother used to whisper over the stove. He told me which star the fishermen steered by and what his harbor smelled like at dawn. I bought workbooks and hid them under my mattress. I practiced in the shower, on the bus, mouthing the sounds until they felt like mine. Pop started calling me Marinheiro, his little sailor. He said I had the patience of a man who waits for the tide. Nadia, meanwhile, built her whole identity around being the real grandchild. She posted old photos of Pop's fishing boat with long captions about her roots, though she couldn't say a single word he grew up with. One Sunday, she caught me practicing in the yard and snorted. "Why do you even bother? You're not related to him. You're just playing dress-up with someone else's family." She said it loud enough for the cousins to hear, then walked off. At dinner that night, she announced how connected she felt to that side of the family while Pop sat 3 feet away, struggling to follow a language that was never his. Then, last winter, Pop had a stroke. When he came home, something had shifted. The English was almost gone. He'd look at us with a lost, frightened expression, like he'd woken up in a country full of strangers who all somehow knew his name. He'd grip the arms of his chair and repeat the same Portuguese phrases over and over, and not one other person in the family had any idea what they meant. He stopped answering to names. The doctors called it confusion. Nadia called it so sad, and went back to scrolling. They planned his 90th birthday anyway. Half a goodbye disguised as a party, everyone quietly sure he wouldn't really know they were there. 40 relatives crowded the living room. Pop sat in his chair, eyes far away, flinching at every loud voice. Nadia knelt in front of him with the cake. "Pop, it's me! It's Nadia, your granddaughter!" Nothing. He looked straight through her. She stood up, embarrassed, and muttered that he was too far gone. That's when I crossed the room, knelt where she'd been, and said it softly, in his language. "Estou aqui, avô. I'm here." Pop's eyes snapped to mine. The fog lifted for a second. "Marinheiro," he whispered, and his whole face broke open into the smile I'd been missing for months. I answered him in Portuguese, about the boat, the festival song, the moon over the porch swing. He grabbed my hand and wouldn't let go, words spilling out of him after weeks of silence. The whole room stared. My dad was crying. "What is he saying?" he asked. I translated the last thing Pop said, slow and deliberate, so I'd get it right. "He says blood gave him a family, but I'm the one who stayed to learn it." Nobody moved. Nadia stood frozen by the cake, the candles still burning, with absolutely nothing left to say.